Welcome back to the Restricted Handling Daily Intel Brief. This is what's been going on in Iran and the Middle East in the past 24 hours. The highest impact development is a credible and highly reversible opening over the Strait of Hormuz. Iran and Oman say talks on safe shipping arrangements are progressing at technical and political levels. Tehran describes the process as bilateral and focused on routes that protect both countries' sovereign rights and security interests. President Donald Trump says discussions with Iran have gone very well and predicts the strait will open soon. Qatar also reports progress among mediators. Those accounts can fit together if Oman and Qatar are passing proposals among parties. The political language still matters. Iran needs to avoid appearing to yield under U.S. military threats, while Washington wants ownership of any arrangement that restores trade. That is why the dispute over who is talking to whom is more than diplomatic theater. It reveals the domestic constraints each side must manage before technical progress can become a durable public agreement. The emerging terms appear to involve separate management of inbound and outbound routes, along with a temporary period for more negotiation. The United States opposes Iranian control of passage and compulsory tolls. Washington also maintains a blockade on Iranian ports and shipping. Iran wants recognition of sovereign rights and a lasting role in how the strait is managed. Three questions remain decisive: who authorizes transit, whether fees are compulsory, and how blockade or sanctions relief is sequenced against compliance. Pressure can help negotiators concentrate. It can also make compromise politically toxic. Trump's threat of severe strikes if Iran leaves the process gives Tehran an incentive to show progress, while arguing that threats prevent a final agreement. Iranian state messaging has already framed delay that way. The working level opening is real enough to matter. The political level agreement remains fragile enough to fail quickly. The physical shipping data keeps the optimism in perspective. 8 vessels crossed Hormuz on Tuesday, the same number as the previous day. Before the war, roughly 130 to 140 ships used the waterway daily. Bab el-Mandeb traffic held at 20 vessels. Stable counts can calm a market for a few hours, but these numbers still describe severe strategic disruption. Some selected movements remain possible. An LNG tanker linked to the United Arab Emirates reached waters off India after carrying cargo from Das Island. The wider system, however, is operating through permission, risk tolerance, rerouting, and sometimes opaque transponder behavior. Traders can react instantly to a hopeful statement. Ships, insurers, crews, and port operators need accepted rules before the real economy follows. The second choke point is making that challenge harder. The Houthis said they struck a Saudi oil tanker near Yanbu with ballistic missiles, though Saudi officials did not immediately confirm the attack. A separate projectile strike sank an Indian-flagged ship near Yemen, and all 14 crew members were rescued. Confirmed Middle East maritime incidents reached 64 through August 4th, with 17 seafarer deaths. These events link the Hormuz crisis to continuing pressure near the Red Sea. That means a partial Hormuz deal could shift the shipping crisis without ending it. Saudi export routes and Bab el-Mandeb transit would remain exposed if the Houthis can continue threatening commercial traffic. Oil prices rose after the Yanbu claim, reversing part of the decline driven by negotiation optimism. Markets are weighing one diplomatic opening against a two-choke-point security problem. U.S. munitions pressure adds another layer to the bargaining environment. Officials familiar with internal data say the Army has used virtually all available ATACMS and precision strike missiles committed to the Iran war. One account said the United States had also expended slightly less than half of its global Tomahawk inventory. The White House and Pentagon reject any suggestion that the military lacks the weapons needed for its missions, and the exact stock figures remain unverified. Depletion does not eliminate U.S. strike capacity. It changes the cost and risk of using it. Another large campaign could require more piloted sorties, deeper withdrawals from other theaters, or weapons held for contingencies involving Russia or China. Iran can read that constraint as a reason to disperse, wait, and bargain. Washington can answer with other platforms and weapons, but the low-risk menu may be getting shorter. This is where diplomacy, energy, and military inventory collide. A credible corridor through Hormuz would reduce pressure on global fuel markets and lower the need for coercive enforcement. A failed arrangement could push Washington toward options that consume scarce weapons or expose more aircraft and personnel. Every delay, therefore, changes both economic costs and operational choices. Iran's internal coercion is moving on a separate track. The UN human rights chief says Iran has executed at least 56 people on national security charges since March 19th, including 27 cases tied to protests. More than 100 others reportedly face execution risk. Iranian authorities defend their judicial processes as lawful security measures. The rising count shows how external conflict and domestic repression are reinforcing each other. A shipping compromise may reduce foreign pressure without softening internal control. President Masoud Pezeshkian has also denied resignation rumors, signaling sensitivity around elite cohesion and negotiating authority. The government wants to project continuity abroad while containing dissent and uncertainty at home. Its ability to bargain over the strait depends partly on showing that the leadership can enforce any arrangement and survive the political cost. The immediate test is implementation. A real Hormuz agreement would produce public terms, consistent passage rules, fewer attacks, higher transit numbers, and corresponding U.S. steps on the blockade or sanctions. Until those indicators appear, oil markets will keep moving faster than ships. Watch Omani and Iranian wording on control, any U.S. acceptance of a temporary corridor, Houthi activity near Yanbu, and evidence that precision missile expenditure changes American strike planning. The diplomatic opening is meaningful. Its durability will be measured on the water, not at the microphone. You've reached the end of today's intelligence download. If you enjoyed it, a review or comment helps the show find the right people. For more Russia, China, Iran, the Middle East, and DPRK coverage, visit restrictedhandling.substack.com. Until next time.